Hello everyone, so now we are going to do one more lab. In this lab we are going to learn some basic about the ASA firewall. As per our student request, we are doing the basic lab because we are going to use the ASA firewall in our advanced lab also. Okay, so I am doing this in the packet tracer. Actually, the new version ASA we are doing in the EVNG and the GNS3. Here anyhow, some guys need the basic to complete the project, mini project. So we will do in the packet tracer. Later we will look in the EVNG or GNS3, no issue. Okay. So if you see here what I done already, I take the ASA firewall. How we can take ASA firewall means you need to go here. When you open the packet tracer, go in this place. Here you will have the firewall 5506 or 5505. So any one model we can use. So I use this 5505. And if you see in the ASA firewall, we have the interface ET0/0, ET0/2, ET0/1. So we have interface that is Ethernet 0/0, 0/1, 0/2. So depend which one you want to use, what you want to use. So what I will do, let me take example the brand new, because I do some reconfiguration here. So better remove and put the new one so I can show you the original configuration. So what I will do, I will take this, I will put to E0/0. Okay, see this is the interface available in the ASA firewall, Ethernet 0/0, 0/1, 0/2, all this one. So I am connecting this here, and here I can connect this for the server for here, and I am selecting this one as here. Okay, and this one, this is our console cable. I can connect to the console cable. This is a console cable, and I will delete this because I already configured that one. So now I am doing the configuration from starting for the brand new firewall. If you are having the issue, let me zoom in or zoom out here. I think we can check here. Okay, let me check here. I think here, or there is option here also. In this one we can zoom in and we can see also. Let me delete the old one, or we can keep, later we will see. Okay, so this is our assignment. We need to do basic firewall ASA 505 configuration. Okay, firewall basic configuration. Okay, if you see, this is the steps we need to do. First of all, we need to configure the host name in the ASA firewall. Then we need to do the IP address. Okay, if you see here, we need to configure the name of the firewall. Then we need to configure the IP address to the interface and give the name to the interface. We need in the ASA firewall, we will have the security level. Whenever we are configuring the interface, we will do like level as a security level as a 0 for the outside, security level as a 100 at the inside, and security level from 1 to 9 we will use for DMZ. So what I want to say, imagine this is a firewall, this is connected to ISP router. So this one security level we will give as a 0, and this other interface is connected to our LAN. Okay, this is a switch. If it is connected to LAN area, we will give security level as a 100. And if you have any zone, that is you have servers, that is DMZ, so this one we can set the security level from 1 to 99, any number. So this is a concept we have in the ASA firewall. Later we will do in detail. Now just I am doing the lab, so I am giving you in some overview about this one. So now we need to first of all configure the host name, then we need to assign the IP to the interface and give the name, then assign the security level, then we need to set up the domain name, then create the username, password, and enable the Telnet, enable the DHCP, DNS, and save the configuration. So when we enable the DHCP and DNS in the ASA firewall, whatever computer we have connected, that computer is going to get the IP address. Okay, so this we need to do. If you see here, here is a topology already I created here. This is my topology. Okay, let me show you here. So if you see here, this is my topology. This is my topology. I can make little zoom out so you can see. So this is our topology. Here we have the server, Anyhow, what I am going to use the IP schema. If you see, I am going to use the IP schema as this one. Let me make little big. This is the IP schema I am going to use. Imagine this is a ISP router. This one is a ISP router. So this side I am going to use this public IP towards the ISP router. This is the IP to this our firewall interface. And if you see this E0/2, we are going to have the LAN network. And here we are going to have the DMZ server, like that we are going to use. And I use the console cable to access the ASA firewall. In the packet tracer, double click and click the CLI. This way also we can access the ASA firewall. Or if you want, in the real scenario, we will use the laptop. We will have the putty installed in this one. So this way we can access in the real scenario, like this way. Your wish, which way you want to access, you can access. You can connect the laptop like this, or double click here, so you can access directly there, that way also. Okay, any one way is okay for accessing the ASA firewall in our lab in the packet tracer. So if you see here, I write the configuration here. First of all, this activity we need to perform. So here basic activity, let me explain the configuration what I wrote here, so you can easily do this one. Okay, so here if you see, our configuration of ASA is starting here. So what I done, I do enable, I go in the configuration mode, then I wrote host name ASA. Okay, host name ASA. So I changed the name to ASA. As in our lab, if you see, configure the host name they give here. So with this one we configure. After that we need to do some configuration here, like we need to check. If you see here, we need to assign this IP. Here you need to assign the different IP whatever we are planning to use. But the problem here, ASA firewall is having some pre-configure. ASA firewall is having some pre-configuration. In that one we can disable, or we can enable, or we can use that one also. So let me show you. First of all, I will open the ASA firewall. When I open, it will be look like this. Okay, and when we want to do any commands here, we can write enable. It will ask you password. Just press enter. There is no password. After that you can write show run, and you can check the configuration. If you see here, what we have here, configuration, if you see, this is the host name, we have the CISCO ASA, and this is the interface E0/0. It is having the, this interface is under the VLAN 2. Okay, and also if you go here, you have the VLAN 1, and by default it is inside. If you see, name if inside, and the security level assigned as 100, and this IP is assigned here. This is a by default configuration in the brand new ASA firewall. And if you see here, the interface VLAN 2 name is outside, and the security level is 0, IP address DHCP. So this one is also enabled. If we don't need, we can disable also. And if you see, we have here Telnet, and here if you see the DHCP already configure here, DHCP D address, and this range is given already, and it is enabled inside. So if you see here where we wrote inside this one, so in this VLAN already this one is enabled. In this VLAN 1, and VLAN 1 where it is integrated, which interface, that interface already going to have the DHCP server. So with this command we can configure the DHCP server. If we don't need, we can remove this default configuration. We can remove this default configuration, and we can configure as per our requirement also. Or if you want to use this configuration, we can use also. So if you see here, I use this one VLAN 1. I am saying this is inside, but here let's see what is mentioned. They mention same configuration which we are planning to use. Okay, if you don't need, you can remove this also. If you don't want to use this inbuilt configuration, we can remove also. So what we need to do here, first of all, first we are saying our first step, if you see here, first we need to configure the host name. So how we will configure, we will go here config T, then we will write the host name ASA. So first step is finished, we configure the host name. Okay, first step is finished. Now we need to configure the IP address. So we need to configure the IP address in the ASA firewall. How we can configure? If you see here, how we can configure, I wrote here. So by seeing this one, you can have the idea. We will write interface VLAN 1, because we need to assign the IP to that VLAN, and then we need to integrate that interface to that VLAN. Okay, I will show you. If you see here, by default they have the VLAN 1 and they told VLAN 1 belongs to inside and his security level is 100 and this is the IP address they assign. And if you see here, this is a interface FE0/0. They will say switch port access VLAN 2. They are assigning the VLAN 2 to this interface. If you want to assign the VLAN 1, in simple, if I say, if you know the F5 load balancer LTM, what we are doing there also we are doing, first we are assigning creating the VLAN, assigning the IP to the VLAN and putting that interface in that VLAN. Same thing here we are doing. So what we will do, we will first create the VLAN, okay, and put the IP to the VLAN and integrate that VLAN with that interface. That's all. So let me show you. Or if you are confused, I will delete the configuration. I can do from the starting. Okay. So if you see here, what scenario we have, this is E0/0. Imagine this is a outer interface. E0/0 is a outer interface. E0/2 is a inter interface. Means this is connecting to the WAN. Okay. This interface, let me show you. This E0/0 is connecting to the internet, ISP service provider, and E0/2 is connecting to our LAN network. So we will say this is our inside network, this is our outside network. So how we can configure? First of all, we need to create the VLAN. Okay. So what I will do here, I will create VLAN 1. Okay, and then I will say name if inside. If this VLAN you want to use inside, then we need to write name if inside. So I will say name if inside, and whatever IP you want to assign, you will assign the IP. And whenever you are saying inside, you need to write security level as 100. So with this one, we can say I have the VLAN 1 and VLAN 1 is having this IP address, and this is a security level 100. Means this is belongs to our inside network, that is LAN network. And then we will say interface VLAN 2 and name if outside. So I am saying I have another VLAN, that name I am giving as a outside, and I am assigning this IP address to that VLAN. You can use any IP. I am using this one. Okay. And security level we need to give as a 0. Why we need to give as a 0? Because outside whenever we are using, we need to put as a 0. Whenever we are using inside, we need to put as a 100. So this way we will configure the VLAN. Now we need to assign the port. We need to integrate the port. So you need to go inside the port. Example, interface Ethernet 0/0. This one, ET 0/0. So I will say interface ET 0/0. I go under this interface. Then I will write switch port access. Which VLAN you want to put for E0/0 here? This VLAN, right? Because this VLAN we told outside and we put the 0. Whenever we are saying outside, security level should be 0. So I will write here VLAN 2. Okay. And then I need to look this one also. So I will say interface ET 0/2. And then I will say switch port access VLAN 1. Okay. So what I done, I created VLAN 1. I put detail. I created VLAN 2. And I told VLAN 1 will be connect to this interface. VLAN 2 should connect to this interface. VLAN 1 should connect to this interface. That's all. So with this way we assign the IP address. So let's do this one. I will open this CLI of this one, and I can show you this one by showing this one. So till here this one is finished. Now let's see. I think VLAN 1 already we have here. If you want to check, you can write show run. If you write show run, what we have here, we have VLAN 1. If you see, this one is by default. So you can keep same as it is because we are using same like that only. This is a VLAN interface VLAN 1, name if inside, and security level is 100 and IP address is this. So this already present, so no need to worry for this one. But if you see VLAN 2, you have VLAN 2, name is outside, but we don't have IP address here. Here it is saying it is assigned by the DHCP. So we can disable this one and we can put manually. But in the real scenario, sometime ISP will give you the IP from here. If ISP is giving the IP for you, then you need to enable the DHCP here. If ISP is not giving, ISP told you manually configure this IP on your firewall, then you need to configure this way. But if ISP is saying that one, I will give you and you will get the IP from the DHCP means you need to put this configuration like this, IP address DHCP. Okay, this is up to you which one you want to use. If you want to assign manually, then we can do this one, or in this one you need to configure the DHCP server, so automatically this firewall should give the IP, this router of ISP router will give the IP here. Okay, but anyhow what we wrote, we are going to follow that step. So I am going to go here in this VLAN. Let me go here, I will say interface VLAN 2. I go here and then I will write here no IP address DHCP. If I want to remove, I can say here I am getting DHCP binding clearing on the interface outside address pool remove. I say okay, no problem. Then I write show run and we can check it is remove or not. If you see here, it is removed now. Okay, so now I am saying I don't need the IP from the DHCP. It is removed. Now I want to do manually configuration. So I can copy and paste this one, right? So I will take this, I will paste this one here. I paste this here. That's all. And now I need to put the port, so I can copy and paste this. I want to put that port in that one, in that VLAN. So I will paste this here. So that's all. If you want to check, you can check here. Do show interface IP brief. If you see here, we have two VLAN. One VLAN is having this IP, other VLAN, that is VLAN 2, is having this IP. And if you want to check, you can write show run. When you write the show run, you can see here this E0 by 0 is having the VLAN 1, but which interface we assigned just now? E0 by 2. E0 by 2 is not having. We need to check why it not came. We need to check. Okay, let me check here also. This DHCP is configured. Okay, let me configure again. I will go in the global configuration mode. I will write interface ET 0 by 2. Okay, then switch port axis VLAN 1. Now I can check show run. Here we should have, okay, here we should have. Why it is not showing, we need to check. Something issue here. And one more command we can follow, this one to verify. I can say show IP address. Here if you see what we have here, here we have this VLAN 1 is inside, and this is IP address of that one, configure, and this is a outside interface VLAN 2, and this is configure. Okay, and we can check one more, show switch VLAN. With this command also we can check which port is where it is present. If you see, when I write here show switch VLAN, you can say VLAN 1 is inside and this port is up, and by default all this interface is in the VLAN 1. Okay, E0 by 1, E0 by 2, E0 by 3, E0 by 4, E0 by 5, E0 by 6, E0 by 7. All this interface is in the VLAN 1, so no need to worry this one. And if you see E0 by 0, this is in the VLAN 2. Okay, so this is good, no issue. So till here our configuration is good here, till here. After that we need to create the domain. If you see here what they mention, set the domain name. So same thing as we do in our router, we write domain name, give the any name. I am writing here name as a ABC, you can give any name. So I will go here config T and I will say here ABC. So now we have the domain name. And if you want to enable the password, we can say enable password, whatever password you need to give. Example, I will give ABC. And you need to create username, anything. I will write username admin, password admin. Okay, I create this one. And for Telnet, we need to do the Telnet configuration. So how we will configure? If you see, this one we finished till here. Okay, they told set the domain name, this one finish, and they told create the username and password, we create this one. And if you see username and password, what I use, admin. So let me correct here, I wrote admin and admin, so this should be admin also. What else we can do here? Till here it is finished. Now we need to set up the Telnet, enable Telnet. So how we can enable the Telnet? This is the command to enable the Telnet. Just you need to write Telnet and which IP you want to give, the inside, right? If you see here, this is a inside. Here what IP we assign? we assign this port is having the IP 192.168.1.1. okay, so I am saying that enable telnet to this IP from inside, because this is the inside area, so from this area they can access. So how I can do, I can go here, I can write here telnet and give the IP. If I want to give the complete network, I will write the network ID. Okay, I want to give all the PCs from this network and telnet that port, so I will write the network ID 1.0 and 255.255.255.0, and this is where inside, right? So I will write inside. So with this command I enable the telnet. Inside guys can telnet that one, and if I want to enable the telnet password also, we can enable that password. I will show you. And what else we need to do? If you see here, we done this one, enable the telnet. Till here this one is finished. Now we need to configure the DHCP and DNS. So how we can configure DHCP? If you see, this command we use DHCP D address and give the range from what range to what range you need to give the IP, and write here inside. So with this one we will have the DHCP enable in the ASA firewall. So I will write this. Okay, I am saying ASA firewall give the IP from 192.168.1.10 till 192.168.1.50, and inside means here only, in this area only. So let me paste this here, this command also. Okay, so already we have some range, that's why warning is giving, because if you see here, when we write the show run, if you see when we run, we keep show run, already in our ASA firewall we have some DHCP is some enable here. So if you want to remove this one, we can remove. So what I will do here, I can remove first of all whatever is default enable present, or if you want to use, you can use this one also, but anyhow first I will remove this one. So how I can remove, I will go here, I will write no, and I will paste that one, whatever we have. Okay, so I remove that one, and then I can check show run, and we can check did I remove DHCP. Still it is not removed, so let me go here, config T, DHCP disable. Let me see here what option we have. DHCP option we have domain enable and no DHCP. I will give the range 192.168.1.10 dash 192.168.1.41, and here let me check unrecognized. I need DHCP disable. Okay, if you see here what I done here, just type show run and copy this from here to here like this, and then write no and put that command, okay, like this way, and press enter. So it will remove. After that, if you check show run, and we can check here what we have here, DHCP is removed. If you see, DHCP is not there, so whatever DHCP we plan, we can put that one. So I will take this one, I will put this DHCP now. So this will work. They are saying DHCP pool range is limited to 32 address, set address range as from this to this. Okay, so they are giving 32 only, so we can decrease, we can depending upon our requirement, that one. So I will put this range only, because this is a license, whatever they are allowing, we are going to use that one only. So I put this. Okay, now it is okay, because they give me this range, but when we are having the new latest model, we have the lot of range, but here limitation, so we will use this one. So I will correct here also. Example, I put here 41 till 41, and I need to enable the DHCP DNS, and I need to enable DNS, so I will paste this one. So DNS is also enabled. So till here this one is finished. Now what I can do, I can go to this machine, and this machine I can get from the DHCP IP. I need to check my DHCP is working or not. If you see this machine is working, this machine get the IP from the ASA firewall, because ASA firewall is working as a DHCP server. So this IP is a dynamic IP, we can say only PC1. This PC get the IP from the ASA firewall, that is 1.10. Why 1.10? Because when we put the range here, we told start from 192.168.1.10 and till 141. If you have more 32 PC, other PC will get 192.168.1.10. This PC is 1.10, other PC will be what we can say 1.11, 1.12, 1.13 till 1.41. And DNS also this machine get. If you see here, DNS also we get. So this step is also successfully we done. Now we need to enable the telnet, so we can put this command. This command we need to put in the ASA firewall to enable the telnet. So I will put this. Okay, error for entering this one exists. So already it is configured. That's why we are getting this error, because if you see here, let me show you. Show run. Here by default, when you have the here, if you see, it is already configured by default. So again I am configuring, that's why I am getting the error. So if you want to delete, you can write no and put this command, and after that again copy paste our configuration command, it will work. Okay, example what I want to show you, I will say no and then I will paste this one. So this is remove. Now if you write show run, it will not there. Okay, here nothing is there. Now example, if you want to enable that one, how we will enable, we will paste like this. You will press enter. Now it is enabled here, and if you check here show run, you will get that one here. See this one, and so now it is done. If you see what we have here, they are saying configure DHCP and DNS, we done that one, and telnet we done just now. Save the configuration. How we will save the configuration, right? In Cisco router we are writing what we can say. In Cisco router we are writing WR, if you remember, but here we can say show. We have different commands also. Let me show you how we can save the configuration. If you remember, in router we are writing WR like that, but here in the ASA firewall we need to write the copy running configuration. I hope you remember. In the router also we are writing that one. In the router also we are writing, but most of the time we are writing the show. Most of the time we are writing WR like this way, write the configuration. But sometime, if you remember, in router also we are writing copy startup configuration to running configuration to startup configuration. So same thing we are going to do the now here. So copy running, just write running configuration to startup configuration and press enter and press enter, so it will save the configuration. So now save the configuration. So this command we are using to save the configuration. Okay, let me paste in our notepad. So where I can put this one. So with this command we are saving the configuration. So if you see here, assign the IP to the configure the host name we done, assign the IP and the label, this one we finish. We set the domain name, we use the username password we created, we enable the telnet, we enable the DHCP DNS, and we save the configuration. And this is the configuration what we use. And in the ISP router, if you want to configure, we can configure, but in the real scenario we are not doing anything to the ISP router. If you see, this is a ISP router, just I can go here and I can paste the configuration to the ISP router. That's all. What I done, I go to this interface and I assign the IP here and I write no shut. That's all in the ISP router. Anyhow, this is our assignment. One of our student is facing issues, so I done this one. I hope it will be clear for you. This is a basic setup. In the coming classes I am going to show you some more advanced lab, but this is a basic to start up with the packet tracer ASA firewall. Okay, and if you see, this is the command we are using to check that one. Show IP address, show switch VLAN. This is a show command in the ASA firewall. We are going to use this one. Okay, let me write here show command. Okay, show commands in ASA. I hope this is clear for you. If you face any issue, any problem, let me know. We are going to assist you. Okay, thank you.